Hello, lovely people. I've often been asked how I speak to the ancestors. So there's several ways. Often if I'm walking, I will find a coin, which I know will be from my father. Or I will see a photograph or a painting or a picture of a polar bear, and I will know that is my late husband sending me a message. But today I'm going to concentrate on how do we specifically speak to our ancestors if we need to reach out to them to help us in times of trouble, or if we need to ask for direction, or if we need to tap into our own inner wisdom and we want to reach back to the ancestral lines to use their wisdom and their knowledge. So the first thing, we need to differentiate between ancestors, the living dead, and the elders. So the ancestors are those people in our lineage, from our mother's side, from our father's side, who have already passed on, and people no longer remember them. The living dead is those ancestors from both our parents' side who are remembered by the living. So they are people, our ancestors, our predecessors, who have lived before us in recent times, and there are still people on this earth alive who remember them and who remember who they were, what they stood for, what their values were, and what their personalities were like. So that's the ancestors who are long dead. They are the living dead who are recently past ancestors. And then we have the elders who are the living ancestors. And the elders, of course, are those people older than 70 who are still with us, who we need to embrace, who we need to tap into their wisdom, their knowledge of life, and their capacity for understanding things that they have seen that we have yet to see. So, obviously, a living ancestor is fairly easy to connect to. You go and visit your grandma, you go and visit your granddad, you spend time with them, you listen to them, and you absorb and embrace their wisdom. But the ancestors and the living dead are more difficult to contact. Ways of knowing that they are with you, as I mentioned, if I'm walking in town and I find a coin, I know that's a message from my dad saying to me, I'm here, I'm with you. My dad was an extremely gifted clairvoyant and audient, and he was a very talented dowser, and he had very healing hands. So I'm blessed in that I was able to watch him working and absorb some of his knowledge, and it's easy to connect with him. My late husband was a lawyer and an accountant, and it amazes me how whenever I'm missing him very badly, a picture of a polar bear will pop up, because that was his totem animal. So every time a polar bear or a protea, which was his favorite flower, pops up, I know that my late husband is here saying, I'm with you, I'm listening, I love you. So you need to think about your living dead, and you need to find out something that links you to them, something you remember about them. If you know their totem animal, if you know their favorite flower, it could be a piece of music, something that they loved listening to. It could be a favorite psalm or a passage or a book, anything that reminds you of them. If for no known reason that suddenly comes into your consciousness, it suddenly comes into your day, you know that that living dead ancestor is saying, I'm here for you, I am with you, I am supporting you. So there's also, if you want to deliberately connect with them, you can just sit and meditate, you can sit in prayer, you can think about them, you can call them in. For me, the best way to contact my living dead and my ancestors is through the tarot cards. Whatever your method of communicating with those that have passed on before you is, whatever the method is, it has to be treated with a sacredness, with a reverence. So I've gathered my little ritual objects. Today I want to contact my dad. It's a lunar eclipse today, and I've just been feeling my dad has been around me. He's been very close to me the last week or two, and I just want to find out from him, what can we look forward to? What do we need to be aware of during this eclipse? So I'm going to start by going through the objects. You will choose your own objects. You will choose that which connects you to your living dead or to your ancestors. And then in the second part of this reading, we will do I will do a tarot reading based on the Lunar Eclipse Tarot spread designed by Jessica of Star Design by Jess. And I'll put links to her channel in the description box below and in the comments below. So the first thing is this ring is a gold stone, a blue gold stone ring, that when I was in grade 10, I was about 14 years of age, my dad went to Joburg on business, and he came back with a red goldstone ring for my sister and a blue goldstone ring for me. So this is the ring. So I know that this ring is filled with all the love that my dad had, and this is a way of helping me connect. I've also got a lapis lazuli bracelet on because my dad was very connected to the Archangel Michael, and one of the crystals that you can use to call in Archangel Michael for protection is lapis lazuli. So here's a slab of lapis lazuli in my bracelet. I've also got a carnelian tower, carnelian and quartz, carnelian for protection and also for grounding. Because obviously when you go into dream time, to be able to talk to the ancestors, you need to be able to come back into the real world as well. And carnelian is an excellent grounding stone, also hematite, galena, any one of those heavier stones. I've got a sea light candle. I will put a link to, these are handmade by Ryan in Cape Town, and I'll put a link to his Instagram account as well. They are the most beautiful, beautiful water energy, emotion energy. There's such a special energy when you light these candles, and I only use them for very special occasions. I've got my white sage, which I'm going to burn to just do a cleansing, because we must protect and we must cleanse the space before we actually open the channels for the connection. So what I do, and I also use sound as a cleansing procedure. So for me as a tarot reader, I have allocated a special deck for my dad, and a special deck for my late husband, and a special deck for my cat when my cat goes missing. But we're connecting with my dad today, the great shamanic healer, Isaac Benjamin Heinemann, and we are going to call him in. I do not use this deck for anything else except communicating with my dad. And this is a symbol of his soul. It is the most magnificent Brandberg cluster from Brandberg in Namibia, the only place in the world where you can find these particular crystals. It is a cluster of scepters. Scepters indicate spiritual power. You can see it has got a lot of Akashic records in it with the stripes. It has got fensters. There's a fenster. A fenster allows you to see into the future and into the past. It's a smoky amethyst. I don't know if you can see let me try and hold it against the light so you can see the purple. There's the purple amethyst phantom inside there. And what the Brandberg crystals are known for is their clarity. They have the most incredible energy. It's a very high vibrational energy. and it is a very clear energy. So this is the crystal that represents my dad's soul, the ancestor, the living dead who I remember very, very well. I always leave it on this deck. Archangel Michael was my dad's guardian angel. And so, of course, this is the deck that I used for my dad. Another thing you can do to help you connect with your ancestors, particularly those, the living dead that you know. My dad and I used to read Westerns together in my youth. And this is a card that I sent my dad. We called each other partner. And here is a letter in my dad's writing. And there is a picture of my dad's mom and dad. So that's the ancestral lineage. So you, for yourself, find an object, find a card, find a letter, find a ring, find something that has meaning to you and that connects you strongly with that particular ancestor who is either of the living dead or who is fully an ancestor. I also have here a lock of my dad's hair with another one of his letters. So that stays always, always with this deck of cards. And it brings my dad's energy very, very close to me. So to get more information, I use the Ancestral Path Tarot. So if there's anything I'm not clear on, we will get additional info using this. But let me start first by doing the cleansing and the purification and calling for protection. I will, of course, be calling the Archangel Michael. So just meet and write in my bounden duty that I should at all times and in all places give thanks unto thee, O Lord, and unto the archangels and angels, saints and masters, spirit guides and ancestors, and loved ones in spirit, in particular the great shamanic healer, Isaac Benjamin Heinemann. We call for the wisdom and the advice, for the protection and the guidance of not only Isaac Benjamin Heinemann, but of Archangel Michael and all the beings of light who protect us and keep us safe, and who bring forth information only for our highest good and with the best of intentions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I'm going to use the wild sage to cleanse not only the space, but also, of course, the cards that we're going to be using. Cleansing is very, very important. And also protecting your space. It's extremely important. And let's leave that burning there. That one's burning nicely. Let's get the Ancestral Path Tarot out. Oh, this is such a big deck. It's a very nice deck. It's lovely, gives lovely readings. Okay, so let's cleanse this. You really do need to approach your ancestors, whether they are the living dead or the full ancestors, with reverence and sacredness. And of course, when we're finished, we must also remember to thank them. It's like asking somebody for advice and then just forgetting them and not saying thank you for their time and their wisdom. And also it helps you relax the mental limitations. We all live in a world that is very places a lot of importance on reason and rational and empirical things, things that can be empirically proven. And of course, when you're talking to your ancestors, it's not of this world. It's of the spirit world. And nothing can ever be proven, so it is a leap of faith. And I love this part of the process, the cleansing. Okay, so we'll leave that burning in the background. So, now, here's the Archangel Michael deck. If you hear paper rattling, it's just my notes on the reading designed by Jess. So, for this lunar eclipse, Jess from Star Design put out what she called a shadow and light reading. We're going to draw 6 cards. 2 cards are going to be dealing with shadow issues. 2 cards are going to be dealing with issues of the light. And 2 cards are going to be asking the way forward about service for others, because this is a Pisces lunar eclipse. It's a full moon, it's a supermoon, and the sun is in Virgo, and Virgo is all about service to humanity, service to others. And of course, that is how we fulfill ourselves, by being of service. Let's just give these a quick shuffle, but I will shuffle again as I need them. They're just such big cards. It's very difficult for me with my small hands to shuffle them properly. I'll give it a little bit of a riffle later. Let's put them offside there. So now, right. Hold on my glass. I have to change my color and go to my Nikila. To guide the drawing of these cards and to share with us the wisdom of the ages. Right. Just want to, oh gosh, these cards, they're jumping. They're very keen to get talking. So Dad, let's hear what you've got to say. Okay, the first card is, where am I giving too much of my energy away? And, right, I think that's enough. Right, so the left side will be the shadow, the right side will be the light. So card 1 is in the shadow. Let's just cut them. You can shuffle the cards as you like. You will find whatever deck you choose to connect with to your ancestors. You will find the deck that suits you, and you will also find the way of shuffling that suits you. Everybody has their own way of shuffling. So underlying this whole reading, deeper insights are at hand. So that's great. So let us start. The first card in the shadow side. Where am I giving too much of my energy away? This is a blessing in disguise. I'm going to draw all the cards and then we'll talk. The first card in the light is, what can I lovingly release? Step into the spotlight. The third card is on the shadow side. What responsibility am I taking on that is not mine to carry? Embrace this magical moment. The fourth card is on the light side. What wants to present itself to me in subtle ways. Don't settle for less. Let's move these so that they're a bit more visible. I see I've gone out of screen. So let's push them up so that you can see the cards, and then we'll talk about them later. And then the service cards that bridge the shadow and the light is: how can I best be of service to myself? Trust the guidance you're receiving. And how can I best be of service to others? Be honest with yourself. So, let's look at this. This is a blessing in disguise. Okay. So, in the shadow side, there is something that is draining your energy. There's something that is making it almost impossible for you to step into the spotlight. And while on the surface this is an external event or circumstance, this is in the position of what can I release with love. So perhaps it's not so much the external circumstance that is keeping you out of the spotlight, but something within yourself, some fear. Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid of being seen? Are you afraid of the change that suddenly fulfilling your dreams will bring? Whatever the external circumstance is that you feel you're giving, or that is taking too much of your energy, it's actually a blessing in disguise, because it's giving you space and time to work through these fears around being seen. It is so important that you release these fears around being seen. You need to step into the spotlight because you have a message for the world that needs to be heard. You need to share your wisdom. You need to share your talents. You need to share your real gifts. This is not about walking a path where you make other people happy, where you take on responsibility for other people's happiness. This is about shining your unique light, discovering what it is that really reflects your authentic soul. And it's about embracing the freedom to fulfill your own desires, your own path, your own soul's message. It's not about manifesting other people's dreams and desires. It's about letting go the responsibility for making other people happy and concentrating on making yourself happy, because once you are fulfilling your soul's purpose, you will automatically, instinctively, authentically just reflect the light that is within you, and that will draw people to you. And in that way, you can be of service to others. You need to be honest you need to be honest with yourself. Is what you're doing right now what you want to do? Does it fulfill you on a deep level? Does it bring you peace? Does it bring you joy? Does it bring you happiness? Do you feel that you're having fun? Or do you just feel, here I go again, I'm off to work, or I have to do this and I have to do that? Because then you have taken on responsibility for something that is not yours. Then you're giving away your energy in the wrong way. And you need to step into the spotlight of who you are and never, ever settle for less. You are a child of the divine, and you deserve to have your real, deep dreams come true. Not your ego desires, not the need to please others, whether they're parents, spouses, friends, family, society, an organization, whatever. This is about not giving up on discovering who you are and just what you are capable of. You need to, how you can best be of service to yourself is to trust the guidance that you're receiving. You have been blessed recently with a brilliant epiphany, and this is a way forward. Trust that vision for your future that you have, and you need to be honest with yourself, because even if this situation is constraining you, it is a blessing in disguise. You just need to be honest with yourself and understand that it is not the external circumstances that are preventing you from living the life that you really want, from being at peace with yourself, from accepting just who you are in all your aspects. It is also learning to best be of service to others through understanding exactly who you are, by seeing yourself with the eyes of deep clarity, deep clarity, and then stepping into the spotlight and allowing others to see who you truly are. Never settle for less. Only ever be of service to yourself and to others through showing your truly deep, authentic self, even if it is having to stand up and say, I am me. I am not who you think I am. Let us now go a little bit deeper and let us try and get a little bit more information on where we are giving our energy away, what we need to release, where we're taking responsibility that is not ours, and just some information that we need to know, what is presenting itself to us, and then how best we can be of service to ourselves and to others. I'll use the Ancestral Tarot for that. I'll just do the quick cut. And then we will draw the cards. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, this is about not holding on too tight to what you know. It's about seeking the stability of foundations, but also being able to drift free from them and discover new paths. Right, let's have a look here. Where am I giving too much of my energy away? I've gone blank. What can I release with love? Where am I taking on responsibility that's not mine? Interesting. What is revealing itself to me? How can I best be of service to myself? How can I best be of service to others? Interesting. Okay, so where are you giving too much of your energy away? This is the Ace of Cups. This is trying to constantly seek the emotional hit of new beginnings. The aces are new beginnings, cups are emotions. There's a need here to just have that emotional high of a new beginning when everything is fresh and new and exciting. But that, you give so much energy to new beginnings. But can you see it through to the end? It's all very well having the excitement of a new emotional beginning, having that emotional high that comes with spring. But there's more seasons than spring. We also have to have the ability, the endurance to move beyond seeking new beginnings every time something goes wrong. We need to learn to have, there's an Afrikaans word called deurhouvermoed. It's more than endurance. It's about having a spiritual and mental toughness that takes you beyond challenges, where you can just keep going and you push through to the other side. What can I release with love? Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. There's some connection here to an older woman. The Queen of Pentacles is the quintessential mother, the mother figure. Perhaps a maternal influence needs to be let go of. Perhaps it's a physical presence. Perhaps it is just the mental training from childhood. The mother is such a powerful figure in our childhoods and throughout our lives. But there is a need here to let go with love, with understanding, with compassion, to let go our childhood and to embrace our own independence. What responsibility am I taking which is not mine? Now, the Hierophant is all about traditions. It is about ancient values, ancient traditions, ancient institutions. It could be, for example, like a royal family or a school, an old school that has certain traditions that says this is correct, that is not correct. It could even be the ancient belief systems, the old belief systems from generation to generation to generation. And this card is saying to us that we need to create our own traditions. We need to create our own paths. Don't throw out the old, but foundations are meant to be building blocks. They are not meant to be prisons. And we need to perhaps understand that we don't have to take responsibility for continuing traditions that are not ours. What is trying to present itself to me? The High Priestess. This is a card that manages, it's very interesting because this is a reading of shadow and light and the bridge between. The High Priestess sits between the shadows and the light. And she brings with us ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom. And she has the ability to hold the forces of the shadow and the forces of light in perfect balance so that we can take the best out of both of them, that we are not afraid of the hidden parts of ourselves, and we are not afraid of the brilliant light that we have to carry. And this is the process that we are currently undergoing. We are learning to accept ourselves in the shadow and the light, and we are unafraid of the darkness, and equally we are unafraid of the brightness of the light that we shine. How best can I serve myself? This is justice. There's yin and yang and the Libra. This is all about finding a balance. This is about finding the golden mean in whatever the situation is, in life itself, really. It's about finding the path of moderation. Never be too happy, never be too sad, never be too angry, never be too forgiving. It is about finding that path of the golden mean that allows us to keep things in balance and not waste our energy from swinging like a pendulum from one side to the other. And how you can best serve yourself is by learning to master those swings of emotion, those swings of ideas, those swings of thought. Mostly, I think it's about emotions. This Ace of Cups, it's all about the emotions. You can best serve yourself by stepping into your own adulthood, letting go these influences that are perhaps keeping you in this almost childlike state of always wanting the hit of a new beginning. It's about being more balanced and knowing that sometimes you have happy moments, sometimes you have sad moments, and the key thing is to bring yourself back to that golden mean, that center point where you are neither too happy or too sad or too panicked or too excited. It's about having emotional stability, which then leads to this deep inner peace. It's a peace that you can't even explain. It's just this feeling of knowing that you are right where you are meant to be. Even if the external world is in chaos around you, having that sense of inner peace of knowing that this is where you are supposed to be right now. It's also perhaps linked to divine timing, that these things happen at the time that they are meant to. And the final card is how best you can be of service to others. And this is the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is about a woman, although the cards have no gender, because we all have feminine and masculine energy. This is a card of independence, of spiritual and material independence. It is a card that shows a stability and yet an openness to new ways, to both the spirit world and to the physical world. The Nine of Pentacles has reached a point where they have enough. They are seeking neither too much material possessions nor too much spiritual excitement or emotional excitement. They are just at a point of maturity where they have so much acceptance of who they are that they can actually offer love to others and help others simply by being who they are. Whew. Anyway, that is the message that has come through. The message itself may not have much personal meaning to you, but the important thing here is to understand the process. It is the process of how you connect to your ancestors. You will ask questions of your ancestors that you will need to get specific answers for, and those answers will be meaningful to you. I'm going to, when I'm finished this recording, I'm going to reread these cards for me personally, because this is clearly a message from my ancestor, my father. And I did this reading like this more to show you how you can connect with your ancestors. It is about finding something that links you to them, like my ring, finding a pack of cards that symbolizes them, like the Archangel Michael Sword of Light Oracle symbolizes my dad, as does this magnificent Brandberg scepter cluster. And then finding another deck of cards to be able to give you more depth into the questions or the answers that you are receiving. We also need to remember to have the sacredness of the space, to keep it sacred, to keep it pure, to keep it protected. And of course, at the end, we need to thank our ancestors for coming through. And with meeting right in the boundary gift that I show at all times and in all places give thanks unto thee, O Lord, and unto all the company of heaven for their protection and for their guidance, and in particular the great ancestral humanity where Isaac, Benjamin, and Harmony. I thank you for your presence and for your protection and for your wisdom. And may your wisdom guide me and protect me all life long. Amen. So much love.